Hello and welcome to today's video. As I said, another tutorial today, and we'll take a look at the desktop mode. Last time we took a look at mini menu, now it's the full desktop. So basically it's similar to PC desktop, it's XFCE, so if you are running Linux, Xubuntu for example, you know the desktop already. You've got folders here, your home folder, file system and trash. You got a start menu here, so if you click here, it opens the start menu. You've got some quick start icons here. That's the file manager, browser, messenger and email. But you can put your own here. This is volume control, Bluetooth if you've got it enabled, wireless LAN or network connections, USB network, Bluetooth network. You've seen that before. This is the battery. I've got 28% left. Usually it also shows how much time there's left, but that's broken on my board. I'm working with a broken board so that you guys all have the working ones. You can switch between two desktops here. And here's the time, and here are the two workspaces to switch around. Okay. So let's see, you can open the file manager just by clicking here. Then you can navigate through your file system. You're a normal user, so usually you don't have to do anything here. So you can't delete any important things unless you're root. Here's your home directory. You can put anything on your desktops. You can put anything in here, documents, that's all on the NAND. So if you just have a few small documents you need regularly, you can simply save them here. It's similar to Windows. If you're used to Windows, you've got your normal user directory with a desktop and can place stuff there. Same here. Okay, let's see. Here we've got different categories. Of course, in these are the applications and things like that. Various different application installed. We won't take a look at them all because we simply don't have time for that. But let's take a look at the settings. There are a lot of settings, as you can see. First, there's a settings manager for XFCE, which shows all XFCE related settings. But there are also a lot of Pandora-specific settings. For example, LCD settings. If you run that, that's a Pandora-specific setting. You can change the LCD brightness if you want, but you can also do that with hotkeys, so that's not really needed. You can manage the gamma. For example, you can load a gamma, default gamma, that's the one that's pre-installed, TV gamma. If you play games like Sonic or any emulated games, it looks similar to that of an old CRT. Or you can also create new gamma or save the current ones. That would be a tutorial for a known video, so we won't take a look at here. But if you simply want to have a TV gamma, for example, click it, click OK, and now we have changed gamma settings. You can also select the current video filter. That's new with the upcoming hotfix 5. So at the moment we have a default filter that's slightly blurred, or we have a simple pixel doubling. Okay. So now if we run any games that use the hardware scaler, it doesn't add blur to that. What other Pandora-specific settings do we have? Date and time is the same we have on the first start wizard. This simply displays date and time, and you can set that. Then we've got the knob settings. That's used for the knobs we have. You can configure the left knob and the right knob, or restore default settings for both. Default is that the left knob moves the mouse pointer, and that you can use the right knob for mouse. For example, left click here. I changed the configuration already to use it as a joystick. Now I'm going to configure the left knob. First you can change the mode. Then you can select what should the left knob do. Use it as a mouse, that's what I currently have. Use it as mouse buttons, that means if I move it to the left, it makes a left click. If I move it to the right click. Moving to up is a double click, and moving down is a middle click. then you can use it for scrolling. For example, if you're working in the browser, you could use the right knob for scrolling up down, or you can use it as a joystick. I won't change it here, I'm happy with that, but that's just what you can change. You can change the mouse speed, the scroll sensitivity, scroll speed, and mouse button sensitivity. So you can configure it to your likings, and you can reset the knob in case it had some problems. We've got the startup settings, which are also for the Pandora. You need to enter your password so that nobody else can change your settings. You can change the default GUI for the current user. So if I want to boot into mini menu, I select mini menu. If I want to boot into XFCE, I select XFCE. Now it's been changed to XFCE. So when I switch on my Pandora, it will boot into the full desktop mode. You can enable or disable the automatic login. You can select the default user in case you have different users. And you can also enable and disable services on boot. That means at the moment you can see the standard settings are applied. If I want to have Wi-Fi loaded up automatically on boot up, I select Start Wi-Fi on boot up. If I need an SSH login, I can also enable that. So if I need Samba, I can enable that. Takes a bit longer and needs a bit more memory if you start up a lot of services, but so I use the minimum ones. Great, that's it for the Pandora-specific startup settings. Then there are TV out settings. They are pretty basic at the moment. You can enable it in PAL mode, enable it in NTSC mode, and disable. A lot more settings will be planned, like widescreen and standard and stuff like that. There are a lot more XFCE settings which I won't show because there are a lot of tutorials and explanations on the web already. Not really anything to show. Okay, here's our new desktop. If you want, you can also apply this desktop settings by using the right mouse button. Right mouse button is always keep and press, or of course you can use the knob with the right mouse button. One thing you can also do is add icons here, for example. Add new items. You can customize your panel, and then, for example, you can add a brightness icon, a battery monitor, or there's a lot more, notification area, mixer, the typical show desktop, or you can add any application you want. So if you want, for example, any program that's in the start menu here, you can add that one. Let's add a brightness plugin, for example. Add. So here's the new brightness plugin. You can then click that and change the screen brightness here. So if you want it like that, you can add it. One thing that's also nice is you've got no icons here, but if you want to have icons there, you can use the right mouse button here and also use properties. And then you can, well, you can show the title, you can use your custom button if you want, and you can show icons in menu. I usually have that enabled because it looks much nicer. Now if you take a look at the apps, for example multimedia, you will have small icons there. Same of course if you plug in an SD card, then you will have a lot of icons. So that's just a very, very basic overview of the desktop. Of course you can have multiple windows running, so for example you can run AbiWord here, and you can also run, what can we run, Terminal for example. And another thing, for example, document viewer. You will see you now have small icons here, so I can switch to the terminal, I can switch to AbiWord, I can switch to the document viewer. Of course I can move the icons around, I can make them smaller and bigger. Well, it's just like your normal computer desktop. That's not really something I need to show, I guess. So I think that's for today's video. I only got 10 minutes on YouTube. See you soon next time. That was a quick overview of the settings you can use for your desktop.